Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel and another video. This is the Premier League show, week 4. Let's do the intro and get right into it. Yes, hello people, and I've put the results for the weekend there at the bottom on the ticker as well. It's good to be back with another Premier League show for you. And to start off the week 4 of the Premier League, we had Luton finally playing a game at their home ground, Kenilworth Road, against West Ham United. And Benrahma, he curled one in well over for the Hammers, and West Ham did make it 1-0 with Gerard Bowen's header. And it was a lovely ball in from Lucas Paqueta, but shocking defending from Luton and poor goalkeeping as well from them. Emerson, he thought he made it 2-0, but Antonio was offside in the build-up. And then Zuma, he makes it 2-0 for the Hammers. It was a great header after a Ward-Prowse corner, and that's exactly the reason why West Ham signed James Ward-Prowse. It's the pinpoint delivery, and it will work wonders for the Hammers with all their tall players that they've got in the midfield and in defence that come up for set pieces. Anderson, he then made it 2-1. He got a header and scored back for Luton. And Luton, I thought, were very unlucky at the end. I thought they should have had a penalty from Ward-Prowse's handball, in my opinion. Luton on the night, it's the second week in a row that I've actually watched them in a full game, and I've watched them quite closely. And I thought Giles and Barkley were the only two that really stood out. They're 19th going into the break, the international break in the league, and pretty much they're where I and everyone else I think expected them to be. They've got Fulham away after the break, and I can't see them winning that one. The Hammers, on the day, I thought Zuma and Paqueta and Gerard Bowen, they were all class for them, and they're fourth in the league, and they'll be getting nosebleeds and vertigo. They're so high, these West Ham fans and players. They've got Man City home in the league next, and let's see how they fare in that one. You know, they're talking about how they're potentially going to be top 4. Some of them think they're going to win the league, so we'll see how that goes after they play Man City after the break. After that, the early kickoff on the Saturday, that was Sheffield United versus Everton. And Beto, he had a shot deflected wide, and Doucouré, he made it 1-0 after tucking the rebound in. Harmer, he forced a good save from Pickford, but then Archer, he makes it 1-1 with a nice finish, and it's good hold-up play from McBurney into him for the finish. Pickford, he then unfortunate own goal to make it 2-1 to Sheffield United. The ball hit the post and then went in off his back, and it was a lovely pass from Harmer by Sheffield United into Archer, who took the shot on. Dan Juma, he makes it 2-2. Nice ball in from Patterson for him to slot home easily. And Larousse, he then skied one over for Sheffield United, and Pickford made some great saves at the end. Sheffield United on the day, for me, Archer, Norwood, and Harmer, they impressed me, but they go into the break just above bottom, and they go away to Spurs next, which I don't think they're going to win at all. Everton, I thought Patterson, Doucouré, and Beto looked very, very good for them. And Everton, they're third from bottom, and they have Arsenal at home next week. It's been a bit of a bogey side, Arsenal, at Everton, the last couple of years. So I fancy the Gooners up there. I mean, I predicted them to win 2-0, but we'll see how that goes on the day. And then after that, it was Brighton versus Newcastle, and Isaac, he hit one wide after a Stupinjan's mistake at the back. Almiron, he forced a save after a deflection from Dunk, and Brighton's first from Ferguson. It's a mad, mad goal. I mean, Pope makes a poor clearance into a Stupinjan who, to be fair to him, he could have hit this right away. He could have shot straight away and seen what happened. But he feeds Matoma. Matoma gets one saved. It comes back out. Gilmore rifles one back in, and Ferguson follows it up to score. Joe Linton then hits one just wide, and Ferguson, he gets Brighton's second. It's a lovely goal. He's got all day to hit it, but it's still a really lovely finish into the corner, and it's shocking defending from Newcastle. Gordon, he then hits one wide for Newcastle after great work from Elliot Anderson. And Ferguson gets his hat trick after a deflected shot of Fabian Schär. But what a day for the teenager. Really, really good performance. And then Wilson, he made it 3-1. And as far as consolation go, it's a nice pass. It's a nice bit of footwork. And it's a nice finish from Callum Wilson. Great win for Brighton. Newcastle, for me, poor on the day. But Brighton, Ferguson obviously impressed and stood out, as did Estupinian after his mistake. And Matoma caused the Geordies all kinds of problems. He causes every team's problems, but yeah, he really, really did a number on the Geordies for me. Newcastle, I thought Gordon had spells, but the rest were really, really poor for me. I mean, Tonali, watch that first Ferguson goal back. He's had an absolute stinker there. But Brighton, they go into the international break sixth, and they go Man United away after the break, and I think they'll fancy that. I think if you look at Manchester United's midfield and backline currently, Brighton are looking at that, probably licking their lips, going, "We could have a field day here if we want." And Newcastle, they're 14th in the table, 3 losses, and not the start they planned or the start that I thought they would have at all. But they've got Brentford at home after the break, which isn't easy. I think Brentford might fancy themselves in that one, but Newcastle really need to sort of kick back and carry on and maybe do something in the Champions League football as well. They've got to really keep their results going in the league. After that, we had Crystal Palace versus Wolves, and Ayew, he should have scored after Wolves mucked around playing it out the back, but Kilman made an amazing, amazing block. Neto, he struck one, but Johnston tipped it over for Palace. And then Edouard, he made it 1-0 to Palace. It was a lovely pass from Doucouré into Mitchell, who fed Edouard to finish. Very, very easy goal to score. Wang, he scores with a volley off his shoulder from Pedro Neto's set piece. And Ayew forces a save from Sarr on the volley. Eze then forced a save from Sarr with his free kick, but then Eze did make it 2-1. It was a nice ball and knockdown from Mateta, but Eze finished it off really, really well. Edouard then made it 3-1 after some good play. It was a nice 1-2 with Mateta, and Eze forces another save from Sarr in goal. Cunha heads it to make it 3-2 after Neto again crossed it in. And Palace on the day, Eze and Edouard was great for the goals, but their overall play I thought was amazing also. I think outside of the conventional top six, Eze next to Matoma are probably the 2 best players for me to watch. I really enjoy watching them 2 play. I think both of them are absolutely brilliant. Um, Palace, they sit 7th in the table, way over what I think myself and maybe others and their own fans would think going into the break. But they have Aston Villa away next, which could be a tough one. I know Aston Villa have lost to Liverpool in this week, and we'll talk about that a bit later on. But normally after a big loss, Aston Villa do come out swinging. Wolves for me, Pedro Neto, he stood out for me again. The 2 assists, and he looks back to his form before he got all of his injuries, which halted his progress. And Sarr in goal, he made some good saves as well, but he just couldn't stop with the goals going in. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. But for me, Kaladzic has to start up top for Wolves now. Fabio Silva, he just isn't that guy. I mean, Kaladzic's height and his presence, he'll cause more problems for the opposition. Wolves, they go into the break 15th, 2 points clear of the relegation zone, but they've got Liverpool at home in the early kickoff next, and I can't see them winning that one at all. After that, it's Arsenal versus Manchester United. Now, I summed this one up the other day with Mark and Dorsey in depth, so if you want to go back and listen to that, you're more than welcome to. And it was a big, big win for Arsenal, important win for Arsenal before the break. I mean, it was a good Rashford goal, but then an amazing response straight away from Odegaard and Arsenal. Declan Rice getting his first goal, and Gabriel Jesus capping it off with a 3rd great goal. Arsenal, we're 5th in the league, still unbeaten, and like I said earlier, we've got Everton after the break, and we'll see what we can do there. And then United, they're 11th, and they've got that potential tricky one with Brighton, like I said before also. And United as well, I keep talking about how much of a mess this club is. I mean, this week again, got the Anthony stuff all over the place, got the Sancho stuff all over the place. And then after that as well, they've invited a convicted sex offender as a guest of honour at their stadium. So fantastic times for Man United. Brentford then played Bournemouth, and Brentford scored after Jensen converts a free kick. It took a while to get it confirmed as the ref's watch wasn't working, but yeah, it's a really really nice free kick and a goal. Ryan Christie, he had a lovely move, but Solanke got in his way, and then Sade he had a lovely chance to make it 2-0, but Neto in goal for Bournemouth made a great save. Solanke, he then made it 1-1 with a lovely ball from Zanesi, and it was a good touch and finish from him. And Buemo hits one wide after terrible defending from Bournemouth. Wissa, he hit the post after great work from him and Rico Henry. And then Lewis Potter smashed the post as well. Bournemouth, they make it 2-1. David Brooks scores after Rico Henry made a terrible, terrible mistake. And then Tavernier pounces. And it was a great moment for Brooks. It was his first goal since coming back from his cancer diagnosis. So, yeah, really, really nice moment for him. And then Brentford, it's a brilliant goal to make it 2-2 from Mbuemo. It was a nice, dare I say, Burkamp-esque turn. And then the finish. And Brentford, they're eighth in the league, and they have the Geordies away next, like I said earlier, and they'll fancy that. I think Brentford will look at it and go, yeah, we'll have some of that. And then Bournemouth, they're 16th and just a point above the relegation fodder, and they have Chelsea at home. And with Chelsea at the moment, they might fancy that. Bournemouth, you never know. Burnley, they then played Spurs, and Lars Foster gave Burnley the lead. It was a great move from their defence to the attack from Burnley, and it was a lovely through ball from Roberts into Colosio, who played it for Foster to tuck in. Son, he then equalised, and it was a really, really nice goal and finish from him. Pedro Porro found Son, who found Solomon, who plays it back for Son to then lob the keeper. Maddison, he then stunned Trafford's gloves, as did Porro following up. And then Spurs second, it's a long range hit from Romero into the top bins from their corner. Josh Brownhill, he then hit one over for Burnley. Maddison, he made it 3-1 for Tottenham with a lovely curling shot from range. You can't allow James Maddison to hit a shot from that sort of range unchallenged, because there's only one place that's going, and that's in the back of the net. Foster, Foster had another chance for Burnley, but then it was a great, great save. And then Son, he made it 4-1. He was played in by Solomon and he tucked it home. And then Son gets his hat trick on the day, 5-1 to Spurs, and Porro with another class ball, and Son then tucked it in. Brownhill, he got a consolation goal for Burnley. And Spurs, they go into the international break. Oh, God. They go into the international break undefeated and second in the league. And Ange Postecoglou, he's done a real good job for them. I mean, they've got Sheffield United at home after the break, so they should keep this undefeated run going as well. Burnley, they're rock bottom, and it's a hard welcome back to the Premier League for them. And Vincent Company, they've got Nottingham Forest on the Monday Night Football after the break, and they really need to get a result out of that one. After that, Chelsea versus Nottingham Forest, and Gallagher shanked one wide for Chelsea, and then Awani just wide of the post with an overhead kick for Forest. Enzo Fernandez, he then skied one from outside the box for Chelsea, and Alanga, he scored for Nottingham Forest. It was a lovely run and finish after Awani's ball. Gallagher and Saicedo were divering, and Nottingham Forest just pounced and scored. Jackson, he missed an absolute sitter to equalise for Chelsea. He should have scored this. And then Silva, he fired one in, but Matt Turner produced a really, really good save. Alanga, he nearly pounced again on two mistakes from Mudryk, but he was saved by Sanchez in goal. And then Chelsea, they now go into the international break 12th in the league, and they've got Bournemouth away, like I said earlier, after the break. And Nottingham Forest, they're up to 9th, and they've got the Monday night football game versus Burnley. We then go into Man City versus Fulham, and Alvarez, he made it 1-0 to City. It was a lovely ball into Haaland from Kovacic, and Haaland slots it straight across to Alvarez, who then slots it in the goal. Tim Ream, he made it 1-1, tapping in an easy rebound from Reed's shot. Nathan Ake, he made it 2-1, and it's a controversial goal for this for me. I mean, Akanji, he's well offside and he's interfering with the player, and I can't believe that's not been given. Haaland, he made it 3-1. Tim Ream makes a mistake and he pounces on that. And then Diop, he brings down Alvarez for a penalty, and Haaland steps up and makes it 4-1. And then Haaland gets his hat trick and makes it 5-1. It was a nice ball in from Gomez into him to finish. Man City into the break, top of the league with no losses, and they play another undefeated side, West Ham, like I said earlier, away in their next game. And Fulham, they're 13th, but they have a game against Luton after the break, which they should be winning. After that was Liverpool versus Aston Villa, and Soberslai hit an absolute screamer for Liverpool to make it 1-0. It was deflected. And then Matty Cash, he has an unfortunate own goal to make it 2-0 after a lovely long pass into Salah, and Darwin Núñez's shot bounces in off Matty Cash. Matip, he just hit one wide from a header, should have scored. John McGinn, he skied one over for Villa after great play from Diaby. Bailey, he hit one wide after him and Watkins just ran in each other's way. And then Núñez for Liverpool smacks one off the bar. Salah, he produced a good save from Martinez. Cash, he thought he scored a header for Aston Villa, but Alisson kept it well out. It was a great save. Núñez, he missed a sitter from Salah's cross, and he must score. And then Mo Salah makes it 3, easy as you like, after the header from the corner falls to him. And then Trent Alexander-Arnold, he hit one over after a great run. And Salah volleys one, but Martinez gets a good glove on it. Liverpool, good win. They're unbeaten and they're third in the league. And they have Wolves away next to the early kickoff after the break. And Villa, I thought might have given a better account of themselves, but they were so poor, and they sit 10th in the league. And they have Crystal Palace at home after this break. So I've got to give the awards out now for the week. And my player of the week, no shock here, is Evan Ferguson for Brighton. Got a hat trick, and he's arguably one of the best teenagers now in the Premier League. It was a really good performance for him. And then my goal of the week, I have picked Brian Mbeumo for Brentford. Sorry, I'll take the ticker away so you can actually you can actually read the graphics. So yeah, this Brian Mbeumo for Brentford got my goal of the week this week. And then the nominations have come in for the season, so we'll quickly flash them up. And the Player of the Month nominations have come in, and obviously you've got Awani, Bowen, Maddison, Mbeumo, Matoma, and Rodri. And I would personally give this to Mbeumo. Mbeumo, he scored 3 goals for Brentford last month from only 7 shots, and he stepped up to keep Brentford unbeaten with the loss of Ivan Toney. But I think with this potentially being a fans vote, I think Jared Bowen or Maddison are probably going to win this one. Then we've got the goal of the month, and the nominations have come in, and you've got Saka's goal versus Nottingham Forest. You've got Bowen's goal versus Bournemouth. You've got Isaac's goal versus Villa. You've got Harmer's goal versus Nottingham Forest. You've got Matoma's goal versus Wolves. You've got Luis Diaz's goal versus Bournemouth. You've got Sterling, I believe it was his first goal against Luton. And you've got Shard's goal versus Palace. And match of the day, they did their own goal of the month, and they gave it to Matoma. But this is done by fans poll, so I could see Saka or Bowen winning this as well. But I'd say out of all those nominated, taking off my Arsenal rose-tinted glasses, I've got to give it to Matoma. I think Matoma scored the best goal. And if you're watching and your kids, obviously the Budweiser logo is in there. Please don't drink if you are kids. And if you are going to drink, then don't drink Budweiser, drink something else. Seriously, it's a headache in a bottle. Do not drink Budweiser at all. And then the Manager of the Month nominations have come in, and you got Mikel Arteta there, you got Pep Guardiola there, you got Jurgen Klopp there, David Moyes, and then you got Ange Postecoglou as well. For me, I think it's between Ange and David Moyes this, but I would give it to David Moyes. He deserves it. He got the 3-1 win over Chelsea, got a 3-1 win over Brighton. No one was expecting them to do that. And West Ham have looked class. For someone that looked to be facing the sack as well, I think he's really turned West Ham around with their signings. And I think he deserves it. I think he deserves to be Manager of the Month, in my opinion. So there we have it, just under 20 minutes, all rolled up and done. So thank you very much. Oh, hello, Melvin. Good morning. Rice. Yeah, I know. Yeah, he should be. He should be in there for maybe the goal and Player of the Month as well. But he's not in there, I'm afraid. So I can only do what the Premier League have decided from there, because we all know the Premier League are very good at judging. But yeah, thank you very much, everybody, for watching. Take care, and we'll see you after the break with another episode of the Premier League show. And just quickly, I'd like to mention as well, Melvin in the chat, we are on the Gooners pod on Sunday for their 27-hour, I believe it is, podathon for Gooner versus Cancer, raising money for the Cancer and Lymphoma Society. All the details, if you follow the Gooners pod on Twitter, or if you look at them on Facebook, or if you go to goonersversuscancer.com, all the details will be there. And just also another personal one. It's been a month now since I decided to go live on the channel, and all the support from the existing subscribers and the new subscribers, and then everybody on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all the social media. It's been really, really great to have a positive response to what I've been doing here. So thank you so much. And I'll see you after the international break. I'm going to enjoy it for what it is. I mean, I watched, like I said before, I watched the England-Scotland game. But if you think I'm watching England-Ukraine, no chance. I'm not watching Gareth Southgate and the Boers play if I don't have to, so I won't. Anyway, take it easy. Have a good weekend, and I'll see you soon.